We're back with our third episode of Star Trek Lower Decks. This episode contained numerous references to previous Trek, so let's see what we managed to pick out from Star Trek Lower Decks Episode 3, Temporal Edict. Hey everyone, my name is Commander Brie, and welcome to Trek Central. Before we warp in, if you're new around here, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and never miss a video. We'll be here every week reviewing brand new episodes of Star Trek Lower Decks as they air. Also, on Sundays at 9 p.m. BST, catch us live on YouTube as we discuss the new episodes with special guests and answer your questions. Looking forward to seeing you there! Spoiler warning, we will be discussing details from the third episode, so be warned that there will be spoilers for Star Trek Lower Decks Season 1, Episode 3. Again, you've been warned. Jumping straight in, we have a whole host of references and neat little Easter eggs as we've come to expect from Lower Decks, so here we go. Federation starships have been known to host music concerts on numerous occasions to entertain the crew. This has been seen on the Enterprise with a jazz concert being called, obviously being played by the king of jazz himself, William Riker, and operas on the USS Voyager by the Doctor, even if some of them were daydreams of the Doctor wooing the women and saving the ship from the Ponfar-crazed Tuvok. We get a good look at a 23rd century Klingon Bird of Prey, but what is interesting is that this is a newer design of one. It has a deeper hull, presumably for some reason or another. Let us know what you think of this new design. If there is significant interest, we'll be breaking it down in more detail for an extended video. The USS Cerritos was originally en route to a peace summit being held at Cardassia Prime. Cardassia Prime was drastically destroyed at the end of the Dominion War in the year 2375, only 5 years before this episode, where over 800 million Cardassians were killed by Dominion soldiers. As stated in our review, there are some great Star Trek books on the rebuilding of Cardassia Prime by notable Trek author Una McCormick, such as the book Enigma Tales. Buffer time is a concept introduced in this episode to explain why everyone says a task will take hours to complete in order to get some time off. This is reinforced by Scotty from Star Trek The Search for Spock, where he admits that he exaggerates his timing in order to keep up his appearances of a miracle worker in getting things done faster than expected. With being as big a Starfleet nerd as Ensign Boimler is, it's no surprise that he too hums the Next Generation theme when in an elevator. I mean, I'm glad it's not just us doing it. This does, however, mean that the theme of the Next Generation itself does exist in the Star Trek universe, but where it actually comes from, we may never know. Throughout this episode, Ransom does many Riker poses with one of his legs perched up on an elevated platform. This was of course made famous by Commander William T. Riker. Let's just hope that we see a Riker maneuver at some point this season, which is of course stepping over a chair to sit in it. As Ransom is talking about away missions that went awry, he mentions horned gorillas and sentient tar. Horned gorillas may be a reference to the Mugato in the original series episode A Private Little War, where Mugato attacks Kirk on a planet where a proxy war is being staged between the Federation and the Klingon Empire. The sentient tar reference may be about Armis, an entity of evil that basically looks like a massive tar creature, and of course, savagely murders Tasha Yar in The Next Generation. A crime that, well, we haven't forgiven even to this day. Mariner remarks that being surrounded by spears is very much like the adventures of Kirk in the 2260s, with multiple TOS episodes having Kirk being on a planet with natives who use spears. One of Mariner's scars comes from Magus 3, a planet that was only mentioned in dialogue by Guinan in The Next Generation as to where she got an energy weapon from. So it does kind of seem like a place where one could get scars. In the Trial by Combat, Ransom employs some very TOS-style combat moves by using double fist punches to attack his enemy. It seems like Ransom might have read the Kirk Fu book which came out earlier this year, which we actually did a review on. The music that plays while Ransom is fighting Vindor calls back to the fight music that was played often in the original series. The scene is very reminiscent of TOS, and I can see Kirk having done an arena combat like this against massive enemies whilst topless. Not only is Ransom a fan of how Kirk fights, but he must have watched an old holodeck video of Henry Cavill, as Ransom reloads his arms the same way that Henry Cavill did in the film Mission Impossible Fallout, with Henry Cavill's actions becoming much talked about on the internet. Getting to the part of the episode where we get the greatest Easter eggs, we see a planet in the far future where children of different species, including a former Borg drone, are being taught Starfleet history lessons. The statue of Brad Boimler is seen with what is described as one of the greatest birds in the galaxy, which was a nickname for the creator of Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry. It was also used as a blessing in universe when Yeoman Rand asks, "May the great bird of the galaxy bless your planet." And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, we finally get a reference to everyone's favorite transporter chief and chief of operations, Miles O'Brien. And he's stated to be one of the most important people in all of Starfleet history. We always wondered what cameos we would get from legacy Trek characters, but I really don't think anyone would have guessed that it would be Chief Miles O'Brien. And with that, those are the Easter eggs and references we found in the 3rd episode of Star Trek Lower Decks Temporal Edict. If you noticed anything we might have missed, please let us know in the comment section below. If you're looking to keep up to date with the latest Star Trek news and more, make sure to hit that subscribe button and never miss a video. You can also follow us on social media for daily updates on the Trek universe, or join our community Discord server to chat with like-minded Trekkies about the show that you love. Alright, that's everything for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. I've been Commander Brie, and I'll see you next time. Live long and prosper, my friends.